So we will see. It's not a good situation because I thought it would be just an easy, Anyway, it is what it is.
We've been on the road for several months now, traveling across this vast country. We had really hot weather, we had winter, we've met amazing people, and we collected so many memories that it's just hard to comprehend. Now we were approaching the Rockies. We were thinking the mountains will bring new and exciting experiences. We spent a brilliant weekend with the Giordanos, but then we say our goodbyes and set off northbound. However, things were about to go south. Smoke appears inside the cabin, coming right out of the dashboard. But little do we know at this point that this is only the beginning of our problems.
So I took off some panels just under the steering wheel just to find out more, and so far nothing. I cannot see any burnt cables or nothing like that. Electricity, no idea. We have fire extinguishers, but with like a 1 kilo fire extinguisher, we have 2 of them. We're not gonna be able to stop a major fire if that happens. It's a bit scary. Checking it from outside as well, but I really can't see anything.
We are Evelyn and Ferenc. Follow us on our adventures as we share our overland trips from all around the world.
So we had a huge grocery shopping today. I have to reorganize these boxes because we don't have much space in this cupboard. So I have to reorganize everything. Right now we are not far away from Banff National Park. So tomorrow we have to get up early at sunset, and we just hit the road towards Banff National Park, where we're gonna spend few days, and after that we are going to Jasper National Park. So we're gonna spend a week or so in these 2 national parks in total. I'm quite looking forward to it because it's gonna be wonderful, beautiful lakes, and the scenery just gonna be breathtaking. We may have too much food right now.
Waking up very early the next morning is not too hard. Unknowingly, we have the best alarm clock in the world. Nevertheless, we make our way towards Banff. Things are looking good. We were really looking forward to finally getting close to the Icefields Parkway. The drive from Banff to Jasper is described by many as one of the most beautiful drives on the planet. So to say that we are excited is an understatement.
This feeling got me flying high as a bird. I may never touch the ground. It may not be my birthday, but I just want to celebrate.
We've done a bit of work here in downtown Banff, and I was just editing some YouTube videos. Evelyn was working on some client projects, and now we're gonna do some walk around the valley next to Banff. There's a beautiful valley that we saw from the road. We're gonna check it out now. It's about 5 o'clock, perfect weather. It was raining all day, so yeah. And then hopefully a campfire and some good dinner, and that's it.
There's nothing like feeling alive. There's nothing like feeling alive.
Tonight we're gonna stay in an official campsite because we are in Banff National Park. Ferenc is right now picking up our firewood for tonight.
So this is the first campsite in Canada, official campsite where we're staying, and it's different than in Europe because they said we can, well, you have to pay for the right to have a campfire, but then they give you firewood, and I thought they're gonna give us like a box of firewood, and they said no, just turn right there and collect your own. And it's like, there's firewood. There's like, I'm gonna build the biggest fire ever. and we're gonna have like our own site. Obviously we're designated site where we're going now, and we are in a national park. So the reason why we're staying in a campsite inside the national park is totally prohibited to stay anywhere you want and free camp, which is what we usually do. But obviously in a national park you've got to follow the rules, and so we're staying in a campsite. And this is what we're going to do in the coming days probably, because we're going to stay in Banff National Park as well as the Jasper National Park. But right now a lot of people are asking us what this bag is for on the back of the truck. Well, here you go. Usually we carry our garbage with us until obviously we see a big garbage bin where we can get rid of it, and also firewood. So now it's obviously going to be full of firewood, and we're going to have a nice campfire tonight. This is a campsite in Canada. It's like, if this was in Europe it would be totally crowded and no space anywhere usually. And this is amazing.
Cheers!
Why?
Ferenc just made some campfire and he's really enjoying his beer now.
And the smoke.
Yeah, and the smoke.
It would be very easy to spend weeks in Banff and in the surrounding areas. It's so beautiful and it's got so much to offer. But we have tens of thousands of miles ahead of us, so we decide to carry on towards Lake Louise to do an easy hike up on the hills for a very rewarding view on the top. We went to Lake Louise and we've done a nice little walk in the forest and up to a lookout. It was beautiful. It was still frozen over, which was shocking at the end of May. But anyway, we got back to the truck and the brakes were behaving totally differently than before. It was going lower, the pedal was going lower. So I checked the brake level and sure enough it was lower than it was supposed to. And then I checked for any leaks or any drops of brake fluid on the floor, on the ground. And then I found the issue. Our brake line has cracked. So there's like a cut on it. I think it's just the age of the line rather than anything that got caught in it, and then that damaged the brake line. I think it's just old enough for it to break. I don't know. And it's a problem because we have loads of different parts in our 2 aluminum boxes on the roof, but not a brake line. Finding it in North America seems to be a challenge. Our hope is that the Ram ProMaster van has got a similar system. It's based on Fiat. This is based on Fiat. So they're both European designs within the same original company. Hopefully that will be our solution. Now we are on our way to Calgary. Richard and Ashley kindly helping us with where to go, where to check, what to do. Maybe we even going to get it fixed at where Richard works. Yeah, let's say it's very tricky. But we should be up north around Jasper by now. And what actually happens is we're driving the other direction back to Calgary to get this done, because yeah, it's not a nice problem to have when we don't have proper brakes.
So I'm just filling it up with .3 brake fluid. It actually requires .4, and I think it's .4, like it's filled up with .4. I can actually mix .3 with .4, that's not a problem. It's not recommended, but there wasn't anything else available. And topped it up to the max, and we will now try to find a solution, a mechanic who can fix the brake line tomorrow. That's where we are. I'm just lying under the truck, so this is the problem we have. The brake line is cracked, so we're losing brake fluid. Now we are near Banff in Canmore, and the 2 garages I went to are only booking for July, and we are at the end of May, so it's not an option. And now I'm just at the parts store at Napa Auto Parts, just hoping that they have this part, because Ram ProMaster vans are fairly similar, because those are Fiat based.
As it turns out, no mechanic can help us in Canmore, and we can't find the right parts here either. So as we suspected, there is no other option but to drive to Calgary and keep trying to solve the problem there.
As much as we want to avoid big cities, sometimes we have to go into big cities like now. So we're headed into Calgary. Looks like a very cool city, by the way. Probably is. No luck. Bought some brake fluid, but they don't have the brake line for the Dodge or the Ram ProMaster van. So I'm not really sure what we're gonna do now. We're going to see Richard now at the gear shop. See what they say. There might be some experts there. Richard knows a lot about trucks too, so we'll see. We might have just brakes on 3 wheels. I don't know, but they ran out of stock, and it would have taken them 2 months to order a car. Next thing we're trying now is to go to a place called the Green Line, where they do custom fittings, custom hoses, apparently. Richard recommended this place. We might even meet him there, he said. He just called me, and yeah, we will see if they can, if they have the fitting for this, which is I don't know, it's very slim chances, and then whether they can make a hose for me or maybe fix it, who knows. If not, then we try another option, which at this point we don't know what it is. So I just talked to these guys at Green Line Hose and Fittings, and they said they can potentially help, but they need the hose, the brake line to be taken off, and then they can have a look at it. So we're gonna wait for Richard and Ashley here, and then maybe in the gear shop we can take it off together. I mean, I've never touched the brake line. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So Richard is probably more of an expert in this, and we'll take it off. We'll probably bring it back here tomorrow morning, and then we will find out if this works. And there they are.
although it's due to these issues that we are having right now, but it's still great to see Ashley and Richard again. When they arrive, they kindly bring us some coffee, and then we quickly discuss our plan of action. At the hose and fittings shop, they told us that they need to see the hose taken off. Only then they can tell us whether they can provide a solution and make a custom hose for us. But taking off a brake hose that's been on the truck for tens of thousands of kilometers is not an easy job on an Iveco. I need help from Richard and Scott as well, who is an overlander who is also headed to Alaska. Luckily, Scott is a trained mechanic, and after a couple of hours of try, can get the hose off of the van.
No, thanks, Scott.
At least we're able to do it here.
Right.
So hopefully that's probably enough. I don't know if we can get it on the.
Don't. Oh, okay.
Well, one's
Okay.
the top one. This one, so it's probably.
So yeah, this is the top, so it would be. Or so the metal line's going into this.
Yeah. So if you want to screw it into this, and then it should be sealed off.
Okay.
That's my idea of the moment. Now the next stage.
Of course, now it's evident that without brakes we're not going to move at all. We're going to spend the night here at the parking lot of the gear shop where Richard works. The gear shop is an incredible place if you're a petrol head or you need some professional help with your off-roading vehicle.
Lovely to see you guys. Yay!
Enjoy the beautiful campground.
Thank you.
We're still at the gear shop where Richard works, and we spent the night here, and it was great. It's a quiet little place, and this morning, which is still the morning now, but we went to Green Line Hose and Fittings to find out that our brake line can be made by them, but we need to wait for one part. The one end they didn't have on stock, but they have it in their other shop in Vancouver. They're gonna ship it over, and they're gonna make one of these brake hoses from scratch tomorrow. So it looks like tomorrow we have a solution. So very good news, very, very good news. So thank you, Richard. It looks like we have a day of sightseeing to do in Calgary now, because we're waiting for this to be made tomorrow, the brake hose. It seemed like a nice town already when we were going to the parts shops yesterday and trying to figure out what we're gonna do with our brake hose. And now we have a chance to see it. Usually we avoid big cities, but now of course we're going to use the opportunity to look around in Calgary.
Our sightseeing walk is cut short by the realization that we are due for an oil change and also a tire rotation. So while we're having to wait for the brake hose to be made, we're using the spare time to do maintenance work. We're just at the right place to do all this work. The guys at the gear shop provide me with all the help and tools that I may need. An oil change is not a simple job on this version of the Iveco Turbo Daily. There's a really heavy, big splash guard underneath that needs to be removed, and without lifting the truck, it's not an easy job to do.
So you did lots of walking today.
Lots of walking and some maintenance, like half an oil change, I guess, because the oil came out, nothing went in yet.
Yeah, but you did the major part of it. I would say 3/4 of an oil change.
I would think so, because getting off an oil filter or getting out the drain plug or whatever it is always the unknown part in an Iveco oil change.
Yes. Here's your brake hose. It's probably right.
Probably.
I don't know. We'll see in a moment here. But watch out for the copper washer. This piece goes down first, and then the hard line will get screwed right into here.
Okay.
So, and then there'll be no leaks, and it's gonna get bled perfectly, and then you go to Abraham Lake.
Sounds awesome. Thanks, Richard.
And you already lost this.
And already the
copper,
washer is lost. Getting the new hose is excellent news, but as hard as it was to take the old hose off, the same goes for installing the new one. It's very hard to tighten the bolts, and something just doesn't feel right. Okay, I'm covered in brake fluid, but the new brake hose has been installed. Now it's just a matter of bleeding the system and test, and we need to test it whether it works. It fits fine, it fits perfect, but everything is so tight that I'm just, yeah, you know, I've never done this before, and now I'm fixing the brake. It doesn't seem right, actually. My favorite place today. I was all day here. Iveco life. This is probably what Land Rover people are doing. Like, I was smart so far with driving a Toyota and looking at all the Land Rover people being under and inside their vehicle all the time. Now I'm doing the same. I was here all day, literally here.
Yep, just pump until it gets hard. Okay, holding. Okay, pump again.
Pumping once and holding.
Let's just put a little.
So Richard is bleeding the system for us.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
Well, I don't know what to do if you didn't tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. Well, that's good to know for brakes. Right.
I just want to make sure you guys don't have any that leak.
Thanks, Richard, so much.
See what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what
One
happens.
step at a time.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not,
anyway,
it's not
thank
done
you.
until you guys are driving away.
Whatever is done already, I thank you for. So,
Of course.
right, I think.
So
I think
say-
we are good to go,
I
right?
say drive it, see how it feels, and then my main concern is let's just like keep an eye on that. Let's see if it feels like good. All we gotta make sure it's stable.
Yeah.
My joy turns out to be premature. The coupling of the fitting of the hose doesn't match the hardline perfectly. Brake fluid is still seeping through.
And then now you might think that it's turning it, but it's not.
It's not.
Yeah. So like, and then, like, I was able to get like a couple of more turns.
Yeah.
And then it's just like was sliding it, and I thought like if I break this, then we are in way more trouble. So after quite a few numbers of hours of work, it's still leaking. We've done a test drive here in the yard, and the brake fluid is just still coming out because of the pressure, high pressure. So I'm gonna use these vice grips because the nut is totally ruined by now on the brake line. So I'm gonna use this vice grip to try to tighten it a bit more. I think we need just a very little bit, but it's impossible to tighten it much more. So we will see. It's not a good situation because I thought it would be just an easy. Anyway, it is what it is.
I spend one more hour trying to tighten the hose up until a point when I'm satisfied that the result is good enough. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. We are safe to be back on the road and using the next several miles to try to test the brakes. It works 100%, and we are losing so little brake fluid that it's very hard to even notice. We are back on the Icefields Parkway, and we are really looking forward to see Julie and Guillaume, as we are planning to camp with them just after the Banff National Park at Lake Abraham. On our way to Abraham Lake, and we stopped just to make a quick coffee, and the scenery, apart from the completely burned forest next to the road, is absolutely stunning. But the devastation of these forest fires are just, it's indescribable. I mean, there used to be a forest here. It's just completely burnt down. It's quite sad. The brake behaves quite well actually. The fluid holds up pretty well. The leak seems to be very minor. It's something we still have to get fixed, but it looks like it's very manageable. We will try to get it sorted in Whitehorse. I reached out to a mechanic already. Haven't seen a response yet, but I'm not worried because we have proper brakes. It works 100%. It's totally safe, and we just have to get that small leak fixed. And in the meantime, we're monitoring the brake fluid level. And Evelyn is monitoring her coffee level, so she's enjoying her coffee.
With some oat milk.
We feel that this wasn't an easy problem to tackle, but it wasn't the first time when we had to overcome some hurdles during our travels, and surely it wasn't the last.